Hello and welcome back to the SalonTouch video channel. In this video today, I want to talk to you about the concept of borrowing from one package to another. This is a very useful and a beneficial feature to a client in a scenario where, let's say, a client does not possess enough units to use a particular room. Then we can automatically borrow the remaining units that are needed from the client's other packages which are similar in nature. So let's look at this in a little bit more detailed. Now there are certain scenarios that can happen. One is that we can go in SalonTouch, set up a setting that will enable automatic borrowing from one package to another when required. And then SalonTouch will automatically adjust other services to account for the units borrowed. The second scenario is where SalonTouch will check if the client owns similar types of services to cover the units needed. And then if so, SalonTouch will pop up a window asking you to select which service you want to borrow from. This is called manual borrowing. Now there's one more scenario we're also going to look at. If we set up a service and set it up so that there's a needed units price set in there, and we'll see how that is done, then SalonTouch will ask us, in the case where a customer doesn't have any other packages from which he can borrow, SalonTouch will calculate the price needed to use that room. It will take us to the register, the customer pays for that particular session, and they can ten. So let's go through some examples and we'll clarify everything as we go along the way. So relax and let's begin. So first look at the necessary settings within SalonTouch. So I go to the options and I go down the list here where it says automatically borrow from the same type of package, option 6. I want to check mark that yes, and I want to save that. Then the next setting is in options 3 here on the top. I click on that tab. And option 32 here where it says when extra units are needed, use the service's needed unit price, which we will set soon, to calculate the charge for the extra units needed. And this is when borrowing is not possible. So I'm going to check mark that. And I'm going to save that. Now let's look at the service itself. So I pulled up the service, the 10 per minute 60. And the important thing I want to show you was the needed unit price, $1. Since I sell this service for $60 for 60 minutes, I decided that the unit price needed per minute would be $1, which makes sense. You can have it anything you want. Now the second thing, I want you to look at the surcharges. In the surcharges section, I specify solar, storm, and tanning rooms from 1 to 10 minutes, and there's a deduction per minute of 1 minute per minute. So keep those two things in mind as we go along. Now let's go and look at the client's packages. So I pulled up the client's packages. It's Mr. Joe Saladna, and I see that in the first package he has 5 units left. He's already used 55 units. He also has another package, a 10 per 90. It's a 90-minute package. And in that package, he hasn't used any units. So keep that in mind as we go along. So now we're at the activity screen, and I pulled up Joe's profile here. It says he has 5 units left on this 60-minute special package. And I'm going to put him in room number 13. $10 minutes. Okay. Now notice a window pops up that says the selected package does not have enough units left to cover the amount needed. However, the client owns other packages from which the needed units may be deducted. Do you want to use these packages? Of course. So I want to borrow 5 units from his other package. So I say yes. And there it goes. The transaction is done. Joe is now tanning. Let's quickly take a look at Joe's packages now and see what's left and remaining. A better view is to go to View All. So you can see in the 60-minute special that here where he had 5 units left, he now has 0 units. And he needed 10 units, so he borrowed the 5 units from the 90-minute special, which now has 85 units left. So SalonTouch automatically adjusted both the service packages for Joe. So to summarize, that's how automatic borrowing works. When a client doesn't have the required units in one package to cover the units required for a room, and if he has similar packages, he can borrow from those packages, and SalonTouch will adjust all the units accordingly for all the packages and everything. Now let's look at a different scenario. This time I went to options and I'm going to disable this setting for automatically borrow from the same type of package. So we're going to do a manual one. So I'm going to save that one. Now we are back at the activity screen, and I've pulled Joe Saladna's profile here. I'm going to put him in bed number 13 again. I'm going to use this with 5 units left, and I know that's not enough. I'm going to put him for 10 minutes. I'm going to say OK. And I'm going to say yes. Now it's going to ask me manually instead of doing it automatically. So I need 5 units. Balance needed 5 units. I'm going to borrow 5 units. I'm going to put 5 here. I could have borrowed any number of units. So I'm going to say yes, OK. And now it's completed and Joe is tanning. Now we have a scenario where the client has 5 units left on his package, but he doesn't have any other packages from which to borrow. So let's see what happens. Put him in the room. Let's say yes, 10 minutes. OK. Now see, it took me straight to the register where it's charging him $5. Remember, for this service, we set up the unit needed price for $1. So for each minute is $1. So he needs 5 extra units are needed for $5. And I can tender this. Let's say he's paying cash. Balance due. OK. And there we go. Now Joe is able to tan after the payment of $5. So I hope this scenario we went through gives you enough ideas to set up automatic or manual borrowing. I think it's a very useful feature for the clients, and I hope you found it useful. So I'll speak to you again very soon in my next videos. Thank you. Bye.